I gave my first paid motivational speech in March of 2001. The way it came about was somewhat serendipitous. The month before it happened, I attended my very first weekend workshop at the Coaches Training Institute, CTI, where I received my training as a professional coach. Prior to that first course, I got some new business cards printed up that said, Mike Robbins, motivational speaker. Well, technically, this wasn't a lie since I had given motivational talks at a couple high schools and Rotary clubs. I hadn't been paid to give a speech. I wasn't what would be considered a professional. These business cards were designed to be an act as if it's already happening type thing for me. Since I didn't think I would know anyone at this workshop, I decided to pass out my cards and introduce myself as a motivational speaker, just to see how it felt. The workshop went well, I learned a lot, and I met a number of great people, including a woman named Christine, who worked for Sutter Health, a pretty big healthcare company with dozens of hospitals and medical centers throughout Northern California. Her job was in training and development, and part of what she did was bring in outside speakers and trainers to work with their employees. Christine and I hit it off, and we exchanged business cards. She seemed like she'd be a good contact to have. I decided I'd reach out to her once I got my business off the ground. The day after the workshop, I sent her a quick note to say how nice it was to meet her. I figured I'd circle back around with her in 6 months or a year. Less than 2 weeks later, I got a frantic phone call from Christine. "Hey, Mike, it's Christine," she said, in a rushed manner. "Oh, good. I'm so glad I caught you live on the phone," she continued. "I got a call from the CEO at one of our large hospitals, Sutter Medical Center in Sacramento. He's all freaked out because his day-long management meeting is next Wednesday and his speaker just canceled. I told him, don't worry, I've got a great guy." Christine then said, "So here's the deal. I gave him your number and he's going to call you in like 20 minutes, okay? Now do me a favor and don't tell him that I've never seen you speak, because I told him you were awesome." "Wow, Christine, thanks," I said, not knowing exactly how to respond. I felt simultaneous joy and terror, not really sure which one came first. They were both there with lots of intensity. I wanted to say, "Thank you, but I'm not totally ready for this, and I'm worried I'll screw it up," but I didn't. I also wanted to come clean with her about my lack of experience, but I didn't want to blow the opportunity. In the midst of my conflicting thoughts and feelings, I simply said nothing. Christine said, "I have to get back into the meeting I just stepped out of to call you. Let me know how it goes with the call. He's a great guy. You'll love him and he'll love you." We got off the phone, and the feelings of joy and terror continued, but the terror seemed to be taking over as the joy faded quickly. My biggest concern was that the CEO would ask me a fairly basic and appropriate question like, "Who else have you spoken for?" I didn't think my response of Skyline High and the Mill Valley Rotary Club was going to impress him very much. I figured once he found out that I had almost no experience, there's no way he'd hire me, and not only would I miss out on this opportunity, I might damage my credibility and relationship with Christine. As I waited for the phone to ring, I made a commitment to myself that I was not going to lie to this man. But if he didn't ask, I wasn't going to say anything. He called less than 20 minutes later, and he never asked about where I'd spoken. As it turned out, he was a big baseball fan, so he was quite impressed with my sports background. We talked about baseball and teamwork and some of the connections between sports and leadership. At the end of the conversation, he invited me to come up to Sacramento to deliver a 90-minute speech on the keys to creating a championship team for the 200 people attending his day-long management meeting. And he actually offered to pay me real money to do this. I was stunned but found the courage to say, "Yes, I look forward to meeting you and speaking to your group." I got off the phone, let out an excited yell in my apartment, and then the feelings of terror hit me again, because, as you can imagine, I didn't have a 90-minute speech on the keys to creating a championship team prepared. But over the next 6 days, I came up with one. I made the 2-hour drive from San Francisco the following week for the event. I was scheduled to speak at the end of the day, from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Probably not the most ideal time since people would probably be tired of sitting all day and ready to go home by that time. I had turned 27 the month before, and when I walked into the room and looked around, I realized I was probably the youngest person there, which added to my already significant level of anxiety. By the time I got introduced to come up to speak, I was so nervous I could hardly even catch my breath. Have you ever felt so nervous that you were sure the people around you could actually hear your heart beating? That's how I felt. I don't even remember what I said for the first 10 minutes. It was like an out-of-body experience, and not the good kind. But soon enough, I started to calm down and have fun, and then things actually started to go pretty well. Toward the end of the presentation, I remember thinking,